Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind you that the Chandler Unified School District Governing Board has called for a bond election to be on the November 5th ballot. Please remember to vote in this important election. The purpose of the bond is to maintain, modernize, and improve Chandler Unified School District school facilities, including security and technology improvements, and to update the transportation fleet. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you back to Austin Field for tonight's contest between the Chandler High Wolves and the Basha Bears. We would like to extend a warm welcome to our Premier Region co-members and thank you for making the journey to Austin Field this evening. We are grateful we can all come together in a spirit of competition to enjoy tonight's game. Our commitment to sportsmanship and athletic excellence reminding us of the values evidenced by high school sports that we all share and celebrate.
The games get bigger and better for the 10th-ranked Chandler High football team. The squad looks to keep its open playoff hopes alive, squaring off against second-ranked Basha. It's a huge league rival showdown from Austin Field on the Chandler High Sports Network. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Pequeno alongside the voice of Basha High, Jaden Reichen. The Wolves got back on track last week, opening league play with a 42-21 win over Castile. Quarterback Will Menzel with 3 touchdown passes. Tristan Helsana ran for 3, and linebacker Aiden Browder doing what he does, 10 tackles and 2 sacks. Tonight, Jaden, Wolves with a big-time challenge, welcoming in the second-ranked Bears, a squad that has not lost outside the state of Arizona.
It's going to be a great one tonight. The Bears coming off of a bye week, and before that, as you mentioned, they haven't lost inside the state of Arizona. Their only loss being a 3-point loss to Mission Viejo in California, the number 10 ranked team in the country. So far this year, the Bears have been playing great.
Basha coming off the 35-20 victory over Hamilton, and this is a team so explosive, putting up 42 points a game, and the Wolves are going to have their hands full and ready because they're going to have to try to stop dual-threat quarterback Brody Veers, as good as any quarterback in the state.
He's been so phenomenal, and he came into these huge shoes of Damon Williams Jr. last year on this Basha roster, but he's taken over the offense, and he's commanded them at the highest level. Some people are saying that he's one of the best quarterbacks now in Arizona. So far, he's already thrown 16 touchdowns this season, and 7 of those have been with his top wide receiver, Gio Richardson.
And the scary thing about Veers, he is yet to throw an interception. That's how good he's been. Defensively, the Bears, oh yeah, they can bring it as well. Linebacker Eli Kramer-Cronin, one to watch, a team-high 71 tackles.
He is the most dominant linebacker Basha's seen in years, and he stepped up last year after a big injury to Basha's secondary when one of their linebackers went down with Jack Blyer. He stepped up and took over. Ever since then, he's been the captain of the linebacker corps on the Basha defense, and everything he's done so far has been great.
Big time adrenaline and intensity for tonight's showdown. Last time Chandler played at home, they were humbled by third-ranked Liberty, 45-20. The Wolves are not used to being handled so easily on home turf. And Jaden, this Basha team, look, it doesn't matter where they play. It doesn't matter what the zip code. They travel under Coach Chris McDonald, and they travel very well. They're not afraid of going anywhere.
Not at all, and I don't think that this Chandler game will change that up at all. The Bears are looking to come in, hold their spot right now. They're third in the Open division, and with a win tonight, they could potentially knock Chandler out of the Open for good and set themselves to rise even higher up that ladder.
Tremendous history between the two teams. Wolves 11-4 lifetime against the Bears. That's courtesy of Max Preps. Paulo Hutchison will let me know that. But the Wolves lost in the Open semifinals in 2022 to the Bears, 13-0. And then the Bears went on to win the Open championship that year. Last year, Bears in a shootout knocked off Chandler 47-42. And Jaden, you were on the call. Quarterback Damon Williams Jr. Simply spectacular. 350 yards of offense and 4 touchdowns.
It was a blowout game. I remember it very clearly. And you know, not to commentators curse or jinx anything, but there's a high chance with somebody like Brody Veers that we could see a game very similar to that tonight.
So here we go. Chandler has won the kickoff. They have elected to receive. Back to receive for Chandler. You got Skylar Ormita, an explosive return man. You'll also see him on the offense at wide receiver. This one booted down the field, taken inside the 10, rushed out past the 20 to about the 25-yard line. And looks like the ball is on the turf, and Basha gets the early turnover as Chandler fumbles inside the 30. And what a horrible start for the Wolves and a tremendous start for the Bears.
You couldn't ask for anything better there from Basha's special teams. They get a great kickoff, and they're able to meet the Wolves there and got the fumble recovery. This is looking great for the Bears so far.
So now the onus falls on the Chandler defense. And, of course, Aiden Browder, the senior, is the captain of that unit. And they're going to have to come up big and try to stop a Bears offense, putting up 42 points a game that already has all kinds of momentum. Veers in the shotgun. Fakes the RPO, and a good open field tackle. And dropping down on the turf was Dash Blake. And Chandler bringing the hard hat early, and can't say enough about setting the tone defensively with a big hit on the wide receiver in a must big play early for the Chandler defense after being put in such a tremendous hole. So now Basha goes to a tight formation, one wide receiver up top. Veers, inside handoff, break it outside, inside the 15, the 10, the 5, and going in for the touchdown. Basha strikes first, and that's Noah Roberts. And the Bears, they could not have scripted any better, Jaden, leading 6-0.
Noah Roberts is one of the best running backs in the country right now, and the Bears have been blessed to have him. He had a full ride offer to ASU when he was in 8th grade, and right there marks his 13th rushing touchdown this season. He has been unstoppable alongside his partner, Josh Gaines. Those two running backs, they call him Lightning and Thunder. Roberts is the lightning, the speed, and Gaines is the thunder, the powerful runner. Basha's running game is one of the most dynamic in the state.
Mikey Barth in for the point after. Good snap. This one splits the uprights. And right now, Chandler punched in the gut early. If that wasn't a wake-up call, they'll check the scoreboard. They'll check their pulses. They'll check the look on the fans' faces. They got to get out of this state of shock and realize that it's time to play some football. And right out of the gates, a fumble on special teams, and the Bears capitalize on a Noah Roberts touchdown run. And now the onus falls on this Chandler offense to produce. This Basha team so explosive, a team, their only loss, well, it came outside the state of Arizona in California against Mission Viejo, and they lost that game by single digits. And this is a team that is not just thinking about going to the postseason, Jaden. They're thinking they've got what it takes to win it all.
They definitely do. Right now, they're the second highest ranked 6A team in the Open Division, second only to Red Mountain, and right behind them is Liberty. But both of these teams, all three of them, they're so similar in terms of rankings and everything right now. I would argue Basha's one of the best, and they continue to prove that game after game. And I would watch out if I'm Chandler right now. Basha's one of those momentum teams.
And that one will go into the end zone, so Chandler will start deep in their territory. And this is a Chandler offense that is more than capable. Will Menzel has gotten better throughout the year. A unit that's averaging 37 points a game, 186 yards through the air, another 168 on the ground. They've got weapons. Carter Ochoa, as good as a receiver as you'll find. Sure-handed. Tristan Halsana, just a beast in the backfield. Close to 800 yards rushing, with 15 touchdowns, averaging $114 a game. Menzel, shotgun, they go inside. Halsana busting right side, and Halsana with a nice, powerful run outside the 25 to about the 27-yard line. And Jaden, we know all about this Chandler team, defensively, offensively, on that O-line, a veteran group. And I know Basha, they come in and they've got some physical forces up front.
Keep an eye on some of their defensive linemen here.
Menzel on the keeper. That looked like might have been a broken play. He takes it out past the 30, and that's going to move the sticks. A first down for Chandler.
A struggle there from Basha. Xavier Rivera-Rogers, number 12, is the one in on the tackle. This is the second time so far this season, though, that Basha's star quarterback, number 7, Trey Knox, has been injured. He just got injured again this week, and Xavier will be filling in for him, so keep an eye on that.
Menzel, good snap. Time to throw, flicks it downfield. He finds Carter Ochoa out past the 45, call it the 47-yard line, and the sticks move yet again. And Jaden, I know you've been so privileged to watch Gio Richardson, who's just putting on a show every week for Basha, but Carter Ochoa is a sure-handed receiver and does a lot of great things for the Wolves. And in this offense, he is paramount. And they also have a transfer, Jai Jones, who had to sit out for 5 games. Now he's in the mix as well. Watch out for Jai to come up big as well. 2 wide receivers up top, 1 down below. Halsana in the backfield. Snap inside, into the secondary, busting across the 45. A big, powerful run by Chandler. And the offensive line exuding its power and strength, and Chandler trying to answer after the quick score by the Bears after the fumble on the first play of the game. It's going to bring up a 2nd and short. Menzel, inside handoff, and a slip at the line of scrimmage. Halsana fell short, slipped on the turf, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and short. So this Basha team, we've seen them. We know how good they are offensively. They look like they run a bit of a spread. Give us kind of a breakdown, Jaden, of what they do defensively.
Well, defensively, they like to put a lot of pressure right up on the line. Sometimes they'll line up Eli Kramer-Cronin right behind them to bring in pressure. They got Hamilton's QB a few times with that last week. I expect the same thing here.
Inside handoff, and there's a flag down, and there might be, looks like the referees are going to talk this one, and it's going to go against Basha. So that's going to be a first down for the Wolves as it moves down to the 41-yard line. These two teams only separated by, call it 5, 6, 7 miles right here in the Southeast Valley. Just tremendous football in the Premier League. Menzel, good snap, fires, flicks it out to the right side. He's got a receiver open, works it inside the 35, down to the 33. Menzel doing some good things in a pocket, finding Skylar Ormita. Ormita, got to say hi to the family over in the islands in Hawaii. Aloha to the Ormitas out there. Ohana to all of you. So glad you could be tuning in right here on the Chandler High Sports Network. Joe Pequeno along with Jaden Reichen, the voice of Basha High. And Jaden, Friday night football doesn't get any better to the best teams in the state. This is what we long for, the build-up, the intensity, and here we are.
It's a great game. It's an exciting atmosphere, you know, to be in the booth right here watching the game. Move the ball backwards now.
Penalty goes against Chandler, and that's the last thing they wanted.
Not only after Chandler just got a penalty, they got moved up 5 yards. This has moved them back farther than where they were before that penalty. Kind of bailed Basha out a little bit after that third down where they had a penalty giving Chandler a first.
So now Menzel and the offensive unit going to have to go to work and try to stretch the field, going back in the other direction. 2 wide receivers up top, 2 down below. Hassan in the backfield. Menzel fires down the field. He's got a receiver wide open. Down the sidelines. He will score. And the Wolves have answered. Big touchdown pass. 56 yards. Jai Jones, the transfer from Corona del Sol, coming up big. And the Wolves counterpunch the Bears on a Menzel to Jones 56-yard touchdown pass.
And that's really a shocker there. You could see number 1, Caden Williams, was on him in coverage. He got burnt by about 5 yards, and you don't typically see that from him. He's one of Basha's best safeties, and that's not very common for him.
Point after attempt by the ever so good Christian Aguilar. Up and good. Aguilar so good on the season. He has hit 33 of 34 point afters, and we are knotted at 7. Tremendous start as the Wolves answer. By the way, the referees for tonight's contest, your back judge, Spencer Shockness. Head linesman, Derek Deerdorf. Your side judge, Johnny Price. Line judge, Sam Radford. Field judge, Barrett Furman. Your umpire, Hufa Federico. Your referee, Alex Herrera. Of course, Chandler decked out in the home dark uniforms and the navy blue helmets. Basha in the road green, white tops, and the kind of University of South Florida golden greenish look. So we are knotted at 7, just a fury out of the gates. Chandler turns the ball over. Basha, Noah Roberts zips it, turns the corner, gets in, and then Chandler answers on a Menzel to Jai Jones 56-yard touchdown pass. So glad you can join us on the Chandler High Sports Network. Joe Pequeno alongside the voice of Basha High. Jaden Reichen, a young man who is just doing tremendous things at Basha High, and so glad he can join us this evening. Chandler High with the pooch kick. Bears, and that is on the turf. And the Bears turn it over. And Chandler High with the big recovery. And coming up big on the recovery as he's surrounded, and now flags are out everywhere. And we're going to have to see how this breaks down. It's R.J. Nito on the recovery. But, of course, we saw a lot of laundry on the field. So before all the fans can really celebrate and control all that great energy, we're going to have to find out how this one is marked down by the referees. But the ball did come loose.
They popped it right out of Cash Brock's hands, and there you could see a lot of the Chandler coaches and players were stepping onto the field while the referees were still deciding what would happen. It's likely going to go against the Wolves here.
So the referees, and they are going to wave it off. So the Chandler High gets the ball in great field position. So, okay, we're even now on fumbles on special teams. Call it 1 apiece. So now Chandler with an opportunity to take the lead as Menzel and that offensive unit coming out. Jai Jones with the big play. You've got Skylar Ormita up top, followed by Ochoa in the slot. Jai Jones, the bottom of your screen. Helson in the backfield. Menzel, shotgun. Good snap. Steps up, and Menzel not afraid to tuck and take off, and does that and works it inside the 30. Looks like he gets out just about the 27-yard line. And Will Menzel is a sophomore, Jaden. Here's a young man who's gotten better. He's got a good sense of the pocket, and when it breaks down, he's got good fluid motion and is not afraid to take off and make a play with the legs.
And he's over 1,000 yards in the season after this game. He continues to tear it up.
And Helsana off tackle with a physical bruising run, and that's going to move the sticks. So Menzel and Helsana guiding Chandler offensively. 7:48 left in the first. Already so many fireworks here at Chandler High. A Friday night of football. Two of the best teams in the state. Three wide receivers up top. Helsana will get the handoff inside. And that time, that big bruising Bears defensive line, they come up big.
Blue Dantzler, number 10, was protecting the outside there, but he kind of hesitated a little bit too much. If he just committed a second earlier, he would have been able to wrap up a second sooner or so. Unfortunate there.
It's going to bring up a 2nd and 9 from the 23. Helsana remains in the backfield, flanked to Menzel's left. Good snap from Menzel. Avoids the rush. Menzel will tuck and take off, and Menzel works his way inside the 15, down to about the 11-yard line, and another first down for Chandler High. And that time, it was just a matter of the offensive line giving Menzel enough time, and he found a hole in that right side and took off.
The Wolves right now flip the script from what we saw in Basha on that opening kickoff.
Helsana working his way. Helsana busting and all the way down inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line. Physicality on both sides. Two teams that have got veterans on their offensive and defensive lines, and Chandler's big boys making some big noise on this drive. Chandler inside the 5. They showcase two wide receivers at the bottom of your screen, one up top. They go back to Helsana. This time, Helsana is stopped short of the goal line. Basha coming up big on that carry, but
they've been missing that pressure throughout Chandler's last two drives. They need to keep having plays like that if they want to prevent the Wolves from taking it down and scoring on them consistently.
But still good enough for a first down. So Chandler High has 4 downs to play with, and you got to wonder if they'll use every single one. Aguilar so good within the 10-yard line, he can easily boot a field goal. Menzel, they go back to Helsana, and Helsana busting, and Helsana, they don't rule it just quite yet. They say he is short of the goal line. Helsana looking for his 16th touchdown as we close into 5 minutes left in this first quarter, and you can hear the Chandler High fans. They are ornery, thinking that Helsana broke the plane. Ormita at the bottom of your screen. Ochoa in the slot, and now Menzel will just go under center, and Menzel. And the referees rule it a touchdown. Will Menzel busting across the plane, and Chandler goes on top.
Whatever momentum Basha had coming off of that kickoff return that Roberts was able to convert into a touchdown, that's completely gone right now. Chandler's up by 6, soon to be 7, and a lot of people didn't really expect that coming into this. So if you're the Wolves right now, you're feeling great.
Menzel, his 5th rushing touchdown of the year, and all of a sudden, Chandler High Nation that was literally stunned in the opening seconds after the opening kickoff was fumbled and Basha capitalized on a Noah Roberts touchdown run. Now it's Chandler firing some silos back with a 13-7 lead as Aguilar in for the point after. Good snap, up and good, and the Wolves go on top 14-7. And Jaden, look, you saw a thriller between these two teams last year. They put up more points than the stock exchange on a regular Monday through Friday. So now here we are. It looks like we might have another 30 to 40 point outing on both sides tonight.
It's no shocker to anybody that the offenses are the keys to both of these teams, right? Basha's defense has had a ton of injuries this year, but their backups have done a great job of stepping up. Chandler as well, though. They've been an offensive powerhouse, so if tonight turned into a shootout between both of these QBs, I wouldn't be surprised.
And the thing about Chandler, is that they are a desperate team. And when you're desperate, you're dangerous, and you know you cannot give up for a split second. This is essentially the game they've got to have. If they don't win this open playoffs, they're done, essentially. For Basha, they can afford a loss, and of course, that's not what they're longing to do. They're longing to get the best seed possible. Higher seed, well, that means you're in your backyard playing those playoff games.
I wouldn't count out this Basha team just yet, though.
Absolutely, just too good. Good return on the outside, splitting the corner, on his feet. Cash Brock. Brock still on his feet. Brock inside the 35 to the 30 and down to the 25-yard line. So Cash Brock, who fumbled the last kickoff, makes amends with the long kickoff, and Basha in great field position to start their second offensive possession.
Showing his speed there, Brock's the fastest sophomore last year in the state for the 110 hurdles in track and field. So he's a dual sport athlete, and there he is demonstrating that speed, almost taking it all the way back to the house.
And you don't get better names, Jaden, than Dash Blake and Cash Brock. Those are football names, baby.
Yep.
So here we go. Basha back out. Brody Veers this time, a little flick out into the slot. And that's going to be a nice pickup for Basha. And you can tell just how poised Veers is in a pocket. Took his time, got a good snap, surveyed the field, and flicked it out for a nice pickup for the Bears. So it's going to bring up a 2nd and 3 as we wind down to 4 minutes in what already has been an exciting first quarter. Inside handoff, busting outside and trying to get a little pickup over there is Joshua Gaines, the junior. And Gaines is another player working that backfield along with Isaiah McKelver. That gives Noah Roberts a little breather every now and then, a little change of pace per se.
And Josh Gaines has really stepped up. He was only eligible to play against Brophy a few weeks ago. He had to sit 5 games after transferring from Hamilton, and he's been able to make a name for himself alongside such a great player like Roberts.
And Basha is one of those programs now. And how about that big time hit in the backfield? Chandler bringing the lumber. And that man is Craig Noble, the junior defensive lineman, 6'3". Noble's always around the football, comes up big, brings up a 2nd and 10. And for young men out there, of course, we never try to stress transferring to another program, but Basha is now one of those destinations for young athletes to know that you're going to a great program, you're going to be coached by great coaches, and you have a chance to show your talent and win every Friday night. Veers, little flip out in the flat, good cut inside, and a good pickup for the Bears as they work it inside the 5.
And that's Jaden Baldwin there, who was getting that reception. He's another one of these star receivers in Basha's receiver room. He's only a sophomore as well, so he's starting on varsity this year for his first year. And he's got just over 300 yards on the season now, potentially looking to score his 2nd touchdown as well.
Bears growling. 1st and goal at the 4. Veers, shotgun. 3 wide receivers up top. Roberts in the backfield. They go back to Roberts, and Roberts working his way, and Roberts runs into a stone wall Chandler defensive line. He'll take it down to about the 3-yard line.
Basha's offensive line had a major injury this Wednesday. Their center, Justin Gertis, went out with a leg injury. He won't be back for 2 more weeks, so in place of him is the right guard, Sam Garcia, number 78, just committed to New Mexico State on Wednesday as well. And in place of Sam at right guard is Bennett Scheller, so their O-line is going to have to work through that injury throughout this game.
Gains it now in the backfield. Veers fakes it, flicks it out to the left. And how about the big man just running over people and getting into the end zone for Basha? Mason Colmer, the tight end, 6'5", 230, a big target. Has not had a lot of receptions on the season, but that's when you go deep into the playbook, Jaden, pull one out, and Colmer delivers.
He was wide open as well. He had a little bit of, contact there right at the line of scrimmage, but he was open for that pass, and Mason Colmer, he's one of the most enjoyable students or people to be around. If you've ever been down on the sidelines or near him, he brings a smile to all of his teammates' face, and it's great to see him get a touchdown.
So here comes Barth on the point after. Barth up and good. And ladies and gentlemen, we're not even done with the first quarter. We already have 28 points. We already have big-time plays. We already have 2 fumbles on the kickoffs, and we're just getting started. Keep it locked, keep it loaded. More to come from Austin Field. Jaden Reich and Joe Pequeno. It's a battle of 10 versus 2 right here on the Chandler High Sports Network. So we are knotted at 14. Energy tremendous. Basha making the short trek from South Chandler over to Arizona Avenue. And Jaden, I have to ask, because every year for Chandler High, the talk, their biggest rival is Hamilton. So where does Chandler, the Basha rivalry, is Chandler Basha's biggest rival, or would it be Perry?
Perry's Basha's biggest rival by far, and that's not really close. Perry, they're on the same road of Val Vista, and there's always been that deep rivalry. But Chandler's been one of the rising ones as well, especially after they knocked them off in the Open 2 years ago.
Chandler on the return outside the 20. They work it to about the 25 to 27-yard line, and they'll take over. And the Wolves have now found themselves offensively.
You mentioned last drive after the penalty that they were going to have to stretch the field before they threw it all the way down for a touchdown on that play. We'll see if they can repeat that again, right, going all the way downfield, or if Basha's defense has made some adjustments.
I'm just glad I have like a big, thorough notepad so I have enough papers to go through to write the running score, because we're already halfway through the first quarter and one page is already eaten up. Menzel. Handoff inside, Helsana. Helsana works his way out past the 30. Basha closing in quickly. Basha bringing the fans the other side of the field. The fans have packed it, and of course that Basha band, tremendous as well. You can hear them from the other side, and they're just doing a great job. And look, behind every great football team is a great band, and Basha obviously delivering on that end. Menzel with a 2nd and 6. They go back to the run, and Chandler going to the physicality, and that has worked outside to about the 35-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and short. Call it 3rd and 1 for the Wolves.
Their O-line continues to get Basha's defensive line in these trap situations. You can see Blue Dantzler was trying to reach back around his body there to get the tackle, and they're doing excellent right now on keeping huge defensive players like that away from the ball.
3rd and 1, Helsana. He's been a workhorse for this team. Trips upstairs, tight formation. Menzel will tuck and take off. Menzel cuts it inside, and Menzel, he is going to be short. Basha closes on that outside, and the big mean green coming up big on 3rd down. And now Chandler with some decisions as time is winding down here in the first quarter.
It's Basha's leading tackler there. Eli Kramer-Cronin, he was able to sandwich him there with Fabo Hardwick, another player stepping up in the place of Trey Knox's injury. But Eli Kramer-Cronin, you just see him soaring around the field. 1 second he's over here, the next second he's over there. In terms of playmakers, he's one of the biggest that Basha has.
71 tackles coming in to lead the squad. That is going to do it. After 1, we've got a thriller here on Arizona Avenue. Chandler, number 10. Taking on number 2 Basha in the AZ Prep rankings, and we are knotted at 14. More to come from Austin Field. Welcome back to Austin Field. 14-14. Bears and Wolves. And Chandler on a 4th and 1 from their own 35. They're going for it. Now, big thing is maybe they're trying to draw Basha off, and Basha has to burn a timeout. And that's a situation for Coach McDonald and crew. You've got 3 to play with. Why not utilize 1?
He's had some issues earlier, and it wasn't his fault, but in the Mission Viejo game, when it came down to clock management, he was trying to do some 2-minute drill at the end of the game in the 4th quarter, and the scoreboard showed the incorrect amount of timeouts he had left. So then he ran out, and he was struggling, to put the team together to get everything flowing. We'll see here, though, in the 2nd quarter, using a timeout early. I think that's shown a lot of learning from that coaching squad, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with using a timeout right here. 4th and 1 from Chandler's own 35. Make sure you have the defense in the right formation and that you don't jump. You just don't want to give up the easy first down here.
Absolutely. You've got 3 to play with. Get your team in the proper formation. And in this situation for Chandler, look, they're probably just trying to draw Basha off anyways, and they're going to end up probably punting. This is a very dangerous situation for Chandler trying to go for it on 4th and 1 from the 35. Helsana is in the backfield. 3 wide receivers up top. Menzel. And now a little switch. Moving Laudermilk to the other side. Man in motion. Menzel. Now another switch. And the Wolves do go for it. And they power forward. Helsana busting like a champ. So Coach Garrison playing the role of riverboat gambler and comes up snake eyes. And the sticks move for Chandler.
I like that. I like that a lot. As a fan of the game, you have to enjoy seeing your team go for it. And I think, as you mentioned, Chandler's playing for their lives this game. So plays like that, they're going to have to make.
Helsana tries to cut it back inside. Met at the point of attack and closing quickly. Edward Washington, the junior defensive lineman. 6 feet, 275. And this defensive line of the Bears is not lacking size and surely not lacking talent.
One of their stars is a sophomore with Tony Tahi. He's number 91, and he started as a freshman last year. He's been such a dominant force. He's 6'2", 305. Plays nose tackle a lot of the time, and he's somebody to keep an eye on.
Jai Jones at the bottom of your screen. Ormita up top. Ochoa in the slot. Helsana out of the backfield. Menzel flips it to his left, fires it. And that is gathered quickly by Basha. Ochoa with a short gain. Call it a gain of about 3 on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 10.
It was an excellent job from Caleb Garcia there, getting to the ball and making that tackle in time, wrapping him up, making sure he couldn't run for any yards after the catch. He's a 6'1 junior. He's averaging 7.5 tackles a game, so that's just one of many to come for him.
8 tackles, 1 pass breakup, 1 tackle for loss in the win over Hamilton last week. Came in with 45 tackles on the season. So a big 3rd and 8 from the 41. Wolves trips upstairs. Menzel. And that is going to be false start against Chandler. And that is just torturous to tack on 5 more yards. So that's a situation at this point of the season. You've got enough game reps in. You hate to see that in such a critical juncture for Chandler High. That's going to spot them back. Now brings up a 3rd and 14 from the 41. You got to wonder, they've got the weapons on the outside, and they're basically saying they're going to go for it and try to throw a dart down the field. Trips downstairs, 2 wide receivers up top. Menzel, good snap. Steps up in the pocket. He's got time. Menzel avoids a tackle. Menzel still on his feet. Out past the 50, and Menzel will get the first down. Will Menzel just orchestrating and just slowly moving up the field, avoiding a couple tackles, and makes it look easy. The sophomore showing such poise, avoiding the snap that is, and gets the first down. Helsana up the gut. Helsana, just a powerful run down to the 30-yard line. So Menzel avoiding the sack, and then it's Helsana straight up the gut.
And they're bringing the pressure. Look at this, back-to-back rapid-fire plays right now. They know Basha's on their heels, and they're going to keep putting the pedal to the metal.
1st and 10 from the 31. Menzel rolling to his right. And Menzel will just slowly work his way out of bounds and look like he might have taken a late shot, but remains on his feet. Coming in quickly and making sure Menzel took notice was Mark Duerson, linebacker, sophomore, and Duerson's another great player on this Basha team. So it's Ormita up top, Ochoa in the slot, Jai Jones bottom of the screen. Handoff inside, and the big boys in the green coming up big. Anotani Tahi, as you mentioned, Jaden, young man, a slew of talent, a sophomore, 6'2", 305.
He's one of the biggest players Basha has, and he's just continued to grow. Like I said, he started his freshman year, now moving into his sophomore year. He's really grown into that role of the nose tackle, and as you can see on that play, he's able to use his size and leverage to get in there and make a tackle in the backfield.
3rd and 10 from the 31. Chandler, what can they pull out of the magic hat? Menzel fires. He's got Ormita, and Ormita. And that is good. Ormita inside the 20. And that's going to be close. Ormita working that sidelines.
There's a flag on Basha's sideline all the way across the field.
And that's going to be a call against Chandler. And now Chandler hurting themselves with a couple costly penalties on this drive. It's going to push them back now. It's going to be 3rd and 15 from the 36. Under 9 minutes left in this first half.
They're exploiting right now the coverage that number 1 Keaton Williams is providing. That's the second time we've seen a large, long pass play get caught in his zone. I wouldn't be shocked if they throw it around him again here.
Ormita up top, Ochoa in the slot down below. Also the bottom of your screen. And there's a timeout on the field. So Basha will go and talk things over, and the Wolves will talk things over. And Jaden, here we are in the second quarter, a 14-14 ball game, and we've seen plenty of fireworks on both sides.
And a lot of those fireworks have been dominated by Chandler. They've absolutely just eaten up the clock with the time of possession that they've had. Basha had a quick score off of a fumble to start the game, and then they had another short drive that was converted with a touchdown by Mason Comer. But their offense right now has been able to just continue to eat up the clock, and if they continue to do this, I think it's really going to work out well for them.
Quick recap. Fumbled by Chandler on the opening kickoff, led to a Bears Noah Roberts touchdown. Chandler answered. Will Menzel, Jai Jones, 56-yard touchdown. Then a Menzel keeper after a Bears fumble on the kickoff. And then it was Brody Bears to Mason Comer, a 2-yard touchdown, and that is where we are. 3rd and 15 from the 36. Could be 2-down territory for the Wolves. Menzel, good snap. Here come the Bears. Menzel steps up in the pocket. Menzel being chased and dragged down from behind, and the Bears come up big in on the tackle. Relentless pursuit.
See, Ty Tuatelli got in there as well. He's able to get on top of him. They almost had a fumble. All the Basha players are pointing to the ref, hey, the ball's on the ground, but they blew it dead first. And he's been somebody who comes in as a rotator for the secondary throughout the game. And he's filled in for a lot of Basha's defensive injuries that they've had. And I think he may even potentially be a starter going into next season. He is such a clutch playmaker for the Bears. Great guy.
4th and 12 from the 33. Menzel, good snap. Got time, he's being tracked down, avoids the rush. Menzel moving to his right. This time the Bears just bringing the goods in on the pressure. Eli, Kramer, Cronin, we gave him props in the pregame, and deservedly so as he comes up with a sack with 7:26 left to go in the second quarter.
And he almost got sacked before Eli even got in there. It was a great job, honestly, by Menzel keeping the play alive. Just didn't have enough time in the world there. He had so much time in the pocket, and finally Eli was able to sneak in and get that sack. That's his now 3rd sack on the year.
So the Bears take over at the 45-yard line. Great field position, and we've only kind of perused how good Brody Veers is on the year. 108 for 149 completions, 1,784 yards, 16 touchdowns, no interceptions. Inside handoff, and the Bears just show what they can do just running. And once again, that's Noah Roberts, who just barrels and goes straight up the gut, follows the big boys up front for a quality pickup, and that moves the ball outside to the 45-yard line. So Veers only a junior, and we talk about how good he is throwing the football. He's rushed for 187 yards and 3 touchdowns as well. And here come the Bears yet again, playing the power game and showing they can line up and just play some smash mouth football.
And that's Gaines' special ability there. They all describe him as such an angry runner, a powerful one. He's able to just break through tackles and keep plays alive. And that dynamic duo between him and Roberts, I think, is just so well at tearing apart defenses because you're able to switch off running backs like that.
JR, you called it. A little thunder, a little lightning. Either way, it's power and speed, and they will abuse you in so many different ways. Handoff, left side, still on his feet, and this time brought down is Roberts, but still a good pickup on the play. Inside the 30, takes it down to about the 28-yard line. And what I love about the Bears, what they're doing, they're going quick here, almost no huddle, forcing Chandler to think and react very quickly defensively.
It's what the Basha offense does best with so many key players on the chessboard. They're able to just run play after play, and that's how they get you.
Veers, shotgun, a couple receivers down below. Roberts out in the flat, and Veers takes off, and Veers will work it inside the 30. And Chandler in on the tackle.
And he almost could have thrown it to Roberts there on the check down route, get a few more yards. I don't know what he saw over there on the left side, but his rush didn't go very far, and now they're looking at a 3rd and 5.
Yona Koopa in on the tackle. 58 tackles coming in to lead the team last week. The victory over Castile, 7 tackles. So now a big 3rd and 5 from the 27. And it might be Basha rolling the dice and using 2 downs here to get the first down. Veers flips it out and working it inside the 30, down about the 26-yard line. Dash Blake, a senior 5'10".
The Bears might just go for it, not wanting to put their kicker in a position to kick a field goal this far out. They haven't had much success with Barth as a field goal kicker instead of an extra point, and that looks to be true here as Veers is going to remain out there.
So now it's Chris McDonald and his staff rolling the dice. Veers thought about it, and he takes off. Veers has got the first down, and Veers quick and decisive inside the 15, down about the 12-yard line. And how about that great display of sportsmanship by Veers, checking on the health status of Hasimi Juma, the star cornerback for Chandler. And that is just an incredible play by Veers, but there's a flag down against Basha. But you love to see that sportsmanship on both sides.
Some people said this would be like a revenge game for Veers. He transferred from Chandler to Basha after his freshman season. He hasn't been back on varsity to play here yet, and now as the starting QB to be back in his old territory, it's great to see him still have that connection with some of his previous teammates.
Tremendous respect on both sides. Now it's a 4th and 13 from the 35. Veers, plenty of time, fires downfield. He's got Roberts in the backfield. Roberts cuts to his right. Roberts, open territory. Roberts inside the 10, and Roberts will score, but a flag is down. And what a tremendous cut by Noah Roberts, and showing the acceleration, but the referees will talk this one over.
Just amazing footwork there. He broke the tackle, and then his field vision, he sees a wide open right side of the field and just instantly breaks it out there. Shows why he's got offers from schools like ASU, NAU, U of A, Tennessee, OSU, and I could keep going.
And it's going to be a personal foul against the Bears, and that's going to wipe off an electric 35-yard touchdown pass from Veers to Noah Roberts. And my goodness, Roberts just showed how great he is of a runner and the great vision. So regardless, thank you, Mr. Roberts, for the incredible display of athleticism, showcasing it on a Friday night. So now it's 4th and 13 from the 35.
It's quite unfortunate for the Bears. They've had 2 4th-down conversions called back as Veers fumbles it behind on their own side of the field, and he chucks it up deep. Gio Richardson catches it, and then it's dropped in the end zone.
My goodness, Veers pulling an Aaron Rodgers, chucking it, and he had the play. He had Richardson, and Richardson, the sure-handed wide receiver, could not come down with it. So now both defenses have come up big on 4th down. So we've seen an offensive explosion in the first quarter, and now both defenses starting to settle in.
Basha had 3 great plays in a sense there on 4th down. All of them worked. They got the conversion. They had the yards. They had the touchdown. And then something went wrong. Richardson can't hold on to it. There's back-to-back flags. And that's really unfortunate because your play callings work, and it's just coming down to small mistakes like that. And that's definitely got to sting for the Bears.
Of course, small mistakes could be so paramount in the course of this one. Menzel, Ormita in motion. Ormita. And thrown down the field. Menzel trying to find his wide receiver, Jai Jones, and Menzel under an incredible rush as the Bears continue to bring all kinds of pressure. Now Menzel coming up a little gimpy. And now we're going to have a timeout as the trainer will come out and look at Will Menzel. And just the last 3 or 4 downs on offensive possessions for Chandler, Menzel has been under an incredible rush by that Bears defensive front. So as the training staff takes a look at Will Menzel, we'll take a short timeout. You're watching the Bears and Wolves from Austin Field. So we welcome you back to Austin Field. Will Menzel has been helped off. He is holding his left wrist. Now in at quarterback is junior Dominic Carmigiano. Menzel is going to the bench. He's going to the training table, so it's going to be Carmigiano who's going to have to step in and potentially lead the charge. The junior has plenty of playing time on the season. And they go inside. Helsana outside. Helsana cuts it back in, and Helsana takes it out past the 40-yard line. And when we talk about Dominic Carmigiano, more of a straight back, drop back passer, 24 of 37 on the year, 309 yards. Young man, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, more than capable. Now Chandler speeds things up as they go right back to Helsana. Helsana busting straight ahead, and Helsana will have the first down as the Wolves move the sticks. And right now, it's a battle of punching and counter-punching on both offense and defensive lines, Jaden. And both trenches are just showing how physical they are.
I think Chandler's done a great job this drive, though, after that injury of taking the pressure off their quarterback. They've handed it back. They've handed it off, on back-to-back plays now, and they've taken it for 5+ yards on both. I see no reason to stop that run here.
Helsana, been the workhorse. He gets another opportunity. Helsana into the secondary. Helsana out past the 30, dragging Basha defenders down inside the 25, down to the 21. A gain of 23 for the super senior for Chandler High.
He just refused to go down. He had 3 Basha defenders on top of him, and he took the ball for another 5+ yards. What a just fierce and just powerful runner there to be able to do that.
Carmigiano just going back to the workhorse, and the workhorse that time is bottled up, takes it down about the 20-yard line. Short pickup, and right now it's Menzel being worked on at the trainer's table. He is being surrounded by coaches and trainers just right down on the track, and we'll keep you updated as that situation unfolds. But right now it's Carmigiano with an opportunity to lead the team. Skylar Ormita at the bottom of your screen. It's Carter Ochoa in the slot. Jai Jones upstairs. Helson in the backfield. Carmigiano, the junior, now leading the ship. They go back to the workhorse, and this time the big bad Bears bringing it and leading the charge. Mark Duerson, but there is a flag down and a helmet off in the end zone for the Wolves. So the physicality and the chippiness in this one picking up. And it looks like it's going to go against the Bears. So now Carmigiano guiding the ship and getting the play from the sideline as the referees are talking. It's a personal foul against Basha. So that works the ball down to 11. And you know what, Jaden, this is a situation. These two teams, the rivalry between these two teams, of course, for Chandler, they've lost 3 straight to Basha. Basha has now kind of turned the tide in this relationship. You know the intensity. Basha doesn't want to lose. Chandler needs this. I mean, we're going to see all kinds of physicality in this one. 1st and 10 from the 11. Man in motion. Handoff. Straight up the gut. Helsana inside the 5. Helsana into the end zone. And the Wolves are back on top. The super senior does it again. Touchdown number 16 on the year.
If you take a look at Basha out there, they don't look into it right now. A lot of them are holding their heads, they're down. But it's also, they're so tired right now. Chandler's offense and Basha's defense have been on the field for a majority of this game. It was 14-14 at the end of the first, and now there's 2 minutes left in the second. Chandler has just continued to chew up clock in this game, and it's wearing down Basha's defense.
Aguilar up and Aguilar automatic. Like the sun rising in Phoenix, that's how good Aguilar has been on the air on the point afters. Now a 21-14 Chandler lead. Don't go anywhere. 2 and change left in the first half. So the Wolves back on top on the Helsana 11-yard touchdown run, 21-14. Now it's Basha, 2 and change left to try to answer. And Jaden, you've covered Basha throughout this season. 2 minutes and 2 seconds is an eternity for Brody Veers and that explosive Bears offense.
He's definitely going to take the air here more than he might on other drives being under 2 minutes. They still have 2 timeouts to use as well, but we haven't seen his star wide receiver Gio Richardson really receive the action that he's used to seeing. We saw that one pass on the last drive, but here's his other one, Dash Blake on the kick return. And flags fly.
And once again, we've got laundry on the field. The flags are accumulating in this one as Blake works his way out past the 30. And once again, another conference call by the referees to break it down. And now we have a personal foul, and once again, it's against Basha. And Basha, in the last minute or two, they have to kind of regain their focus and regain their discipline. Right now they are self-imploding with very bad penalties. So that's going to push them back a little bit. Once had the ball out past the 30, and that's going to take them to about the 18-yard line. And Brody Veers and this Bears offense will go back to work. Of course, Noah Roberts in the backfield, an electric group of receivers, an offensive unit putting up 42 points a game. Veers, high snap, Sets up. He's got all day. He's going to fire it downfield. This one floats up. He's got a receiver. He's got his man in on the reception. Richardson inside the 20, down to about the 15-yard line. A tremendous pickup for the Bears, and they make it look that easy.
They make it look that easy, and they do it so often right there. That type of play is not uncommon. That connection between Richardson and Veers is unmatched in the state of Arizona right now. Those two are the best wide receiver quarterback combo, and I just love that Basha was finally able to get Richardson a bit more involved in their offense.
A gain of 67 on the play. Veers rolling to his left. Will stop, pop, fires. He's got a receiver on that sidelines, and they say the catch is good inside the 5-yard line. And in on the reception, making it look easy, Jaden Baldwin just catching a BB out of the air. The sophomore, 6'0", tremendous good hands, and Veers fired a strike inside the 5-yard line.
And in under a minute, Basha has basically gone the distance of the entire field. There's still a minute 15 remaining. Great clock management here.
Veers, inside handoff, Roberts cutting, and Roberts gets dragged down inside the 3. Call it the 2-yard line. So what a tremendous turn of events. Veers, the Hail Mary, Richardson falls under it, and now it's Roberts trying to work it inside the 5. We are down to 52 seconds left in the first half. Veers in the shotgun, flanked by Roberts to his left. And that time, it's not Roberts. It's Joshua Gaines who gave Roberts a breather. Now with 36 seconds, and Basha calls a timeout. So that's an opportunity for the Wolves to catch their breath defensively. And just when you think, if you're Chandler, you just scored, you go up 21-14, and just Veers just showing his poise in a pocket, that great protection on that offensive line, which allowed him enough time to throw the bomb down field to Richardson, who just had tremendous concentration to bring it in and work the ball for a 67-yard gain.
Don't poke the bear, Joe. This is a team that you can't count out until the end, right? You let Chandler get up by 7. Who knows what can happen in the last 2 minutes, especially with a U of A commit like Gio Richardson.
Gio Richardson, and that might be the classic quote of the night. Don't poke the bear. I might use that going forward in my everyday life. Don't poke the bear. 36.2 seconds left. Jaden Reichen, the voice of the Basha Bears, joining us on the Chandler High Sports Network for a big showdown. Number 10 Chandler High leading number 2 Basha 21-14. And right now they're working on the clock, at least the Chandler coaches right to our left, and the referees on the field signaling to the press box to change the time on the clock, and that is what the Wolves staff has just gone over to the officials in the press box. So now we're even at 41 seconds, and that's an eternity. And for Chandler High, look, now they're thinking about getting the ball back if Basha should score here. Down below is Richardson, the bottom of your screen. Veers, now Richardson in motion. Veers will tuck and take off, and Veers into the end zone, and the Bears answer. And they do it in less than a minute and 30 seconds. They go the distance for the touchdown.
That drive was dominated by Veers. The throws, excellent deep throws, fast throws, and there he got his 4th rushing touchdown on the season there, and it was a physical one too. He was throwing a shoulder going into the end zone. He's such a dynamic QB who can run and pass, and I think so many people doubted him going into this season, and he's proved every single one of them wrong.
Mikey Barth staying busy, and Barth splitting the uprights, and we are knotted at 21. So give us kind of a flavor of what spring ball and leading up to this season. Damon Williams had such an incredible senior year, and here is Brody Veers, who's waited his opportunity. A young man, you look at the physicality of his size, 6'0", buck 85. Obviously, still has to put on some muscle, but what was the talk of Veers going into being a starter for this team this year?
Well, look, I've spoken to Veers himself and a lot of his teammates, and there was a previous quarterback at Basha, Karsten Lee, and then he ended up transferring. So Veers was playing spring ball 7-on-7 with the Bears. He ended up taking that starting spot, and all of his teammates had full confidence in him, right? Every single one that I have talked to knew that from spring ball, this guy was the real deal. He was going to go out there and compete. Now, they didn't know, is he going to be the next Damon, right? Everybody kept saying that. And, you know, he's not the exact same player as Damon Williams Jr., but I think for a quarterback in this system that Basha has put together, there's not much more you can ask from Veers.
Kickoff, and this one will go deep into the end zone, and the Wolves will get the touchback, and they've got 37 seconds to play with. So we've seen explosive plays on both sides. We've seen the Will Menzel long touchdown pass to Jai Jones. We've seen Veers, the 67-yard big hook up to Richardson. Now do the Wolves try to hit a big play down the field with 37 seconds left? Aguilar, kind of like Mikey Barth, hasn't been really tested from the field goal range, but Aguilar more than capable of doing good things. 33, call it now 35 of 36 on point after attempts. Wolves spreading the Bears out. Carmigiano, the quick flip out to Carter Ochoa. Ochoa still on his feet, out past the 40, dragged down, and that was a good pickup by Chandler. Quality work, a 22-yard pickup, and they basically eat up about 8 seconds off the clock. Big difference between Carmigiano and Will Menzel. Carmigiano is your straight drop-back passer, and he's great in that situation. He can really throw the ball downfield. Helsana gets balled up, a short gain, call it a pickup of 1. And right now, we don't see Will Menzel on the training table whatsoever. Could be inside the locker room, and we'll try to update that as we go. So another timeout on the field. 22.4 seconds left. We are knotted at 21. And Jaden, you've seen Basha in this situation in the course of the year. Give us kind of your thoughts of this game and their game flow and how they've kind of reacted to being in situations like this in tight ball games throughout the year.
Throughout this year, Basha's closest game has been their 3-point loss to Mission Viejo in California. I had the honor of traveling to that game and reporting on it there, and they were in it the entire way, and it just came down to some of the final few plays. It was actually pretty similar to this. They got a kickoff return TD from Gio Richardson to start the game, so they have that special teams momentum going into it, and then it's pretty neck and neck going into halftime. The last time we saw a game this close with the Bears, though, was last year against Highland, where they lost on homecoming by 1. So having a game this close, the Bears know what it's like.
22.4 seconds left. 2nd and 8 from the 43. Elson in the backfield. Carmigiano now running the show. Menzel out with an injury. Carmigiano flips it to the sidelines, and that is a strike. And Carter Ochoa toe tapping for the first down. And we talk about Carter Ochoa. You want to talk about great hands as a wide receiver you'll find in the state. Carter Ochoa, number 8. No question, he should be playing college football somewhere. Excellent hands. So now 17.9 seconds left at 1st and 10 from the 47. Carmigiano working that pocket like a champ. Now under a big rush, trying to avoid the rush, and flips it down over the head of Helsana. Is going to bring up a 2nd down. And once again, that Basha pressure disrupting Carmigiano in the pocket.
That's the defense's biggest weapon right now, is their defensive line and their ability to collapse the pocket quickly. We saw some decent coverage there from the secondary, but that's where the defense has really struggled, is holding receivers from places that aren't right next to the sideline. On a drive like this, you don't want them getting toe taps. So I think if they can continue to put pressure in on the pocket, the defense might be able to hold the Wolves here.
They go back to Helsana. Helsana busted into the secondary and finally gets brought down to the 31-yard line. And that leaves 6.8 seconds left. So Chandler looked like they were content on just burning the clock. And then Helsana says, look, I got time to do some things. And now gives them a fighting chance to maybe shoot for the end zone. And they've got the playmakers in Jai Jones and Ochoa and Skylar Ormita to potentially go big for a possible go-ahead touchdown with 6.8 seconds left. And Jaden, what we've seen in this game, you can't count out any offensive unit no matter what time is left on the clock.
Absolutely, you can't. And right there, they showed it once again with a great breakout run. And now, like you just said, you've got a play to potentially go deep, look to the end zone. If you don't get it, great. You have a perfect opportunity to set up your kicker. And while it may be a little bit long of a kick for high school, it's still a great kick to take in a game like this. And I don't think Chandler's going to shy away from that challenge.
And, of course, Basha, you know they're going to try to bring the pressure. Of course, Eli Kramer Cronin has a sack in this one, and that big physical Basha defensive line is going to look to put pressure on Carmigiano. We've seen Carmigiano hit a buzzer touchdown throwing pass against Corona about a month ago on the last play at Corona. 6.8 seconds left. Same situation right here. Carmigiano looking at the sidelines. He's got a good snap. Ochoa over the middle. Carmigiano.
He's got to keep an eye on the clock here. He's going to scramble.
Carmigiano flips it to the side. He's got a receiver. The cutback and the score. Chandler into the end zone with no time left on the clock. Coming up big. The Wolves get it done. And now a flag comes down. But the Wolves get the go-ahead touchdown pass.
How do you leave Ochoa wide open there? And what a crazy catch to catch that on the sideline there to stay in bounds, then get up and go into the end zone. But the secondary and the safeties, the corners, nowhere to be seen around him. And that was a risky play because he was out of time. No time left. He had to throw that ball there. But look at that. He's able to get in, get the touchdown. And as a Chandler fan, there's no better way you could ask to go into the second half after that.
And it looks like that was Carter Ochoa on the touchdown reception. So once again, Carmigiano, 6.8 seconds left, an eternity, and finds Carter Ochoa. And, of course, that is pushed back for the excessive celebration. But if you're Chandler High, sometimes you got to bite the bullet. That was one of the biggest plays as they are fighting for their open playoff lives. And this is a game they've got to have now. You got to wonder, how critical is this extra point? After the Ochoa touchdown, if Aguilar cannot connect with no time left in this first half. Ochoa waiting for the snap. The hold is good. This one up, and this one is no good. So Chandler takes the lead on the Ochoa Hail Mary from Carmigiano, but Aguilar cannot convert, and that could be a critical extra point miss for Chandler in just what has been an incredible first half. And Jaden, we've been treated to a tremendous first half of football as Basha goes into the locker room, a team that has not lost inside the state of Arizona. And for Chandler playing on home turf, they've lost 3 in a row to Basha. We knew there was going to be fireworks, and the fireworks and all the expectations, they have lived up to the billing and then some.
Every week I've said it, and I've heard other people say it as well, but Basha's been worried about trap games, right? Games that they go into thinking this will be a blowout, this will be a big win, we can go a little bit easier. They're coming off of a bye now as well, so they've had 2 weeks off. And look at this, down by 6 at half. They will receive the kickoff to start the second half. But this is a game that Basha's going to have to treat every single play with the utmost seriousness in the second half if they want to stay in it. And as you just mentioned, that was a critical extra point that Chandler missed there because of that excessive celebration penalty that moved them back so far. I think for Chandler as well, you have to treat every play like it's the final play of the game. You can't mess around. Anything like that, and I think we're going to see such a serious and competitive second half from this team, from both teams, and maybe one of the best games of the year.
27-21. It started with a fumble on special teams by the Wolves. The Bears capitalized, and it's been a roller coaster ever since with the Wolves with a 6-point halftime lead. We'll take a short timeout from Austin Field. Jaden Reichen, the voice of Basha High. Joe Pequeno on the call from Austin Field. It's the Wolves and Bears in a key premier standing showdown on the Chandler High Sports Network. And we welcome back to Austin Field. Chandler High back on the field. Basha slowly working its way on the field as well. A 27-21 Wolves halftime lead. And you got to wonder how big that missed extra point by Chandler High. Christian Aguilar on the point after the excessive celebration. Joe Pequeno here with Jaden Reichen, the voice of the Basha Bears. And that's a situation, it's football. And it wasn't like Chandler High was excessively celebrating and mocking a Basha Bears player. It was a contingent of young Wolves just getting together and just embracing the moment. And you got to wonder if the referees just kind of overstepped their boundaries in a critical moment. And, of course, what is a critical game for Chandler High and Basha in the course of this season.
It's always going to be a tough call to make, right? You know, trying to determine a rule like that where it's not as clear-cut as, say, something like an offsides, right? But, you know, the celebration was going on a little long, so I can see where the officials were coming from with the call, but I can also see, you know, the side of where, like you said, they're not mocking anything. It wasn't like anything against Basha to, you know, disrespect them. So, yes, it's going to be controversial. While I don't think the call was incorrect, I do think that, yes, now Chandler's going to have to really make sure that they don't have anything like that in the second half, because another play like that could potentially make them go down or miss an extra point, that could be critical.
So we're going to recap this one. Started with a fumble on the opening kickoff by the Wolves. Bears capitalized. Noah Roberts on the touchdown run. And Roberts has been electric in this game. Chandler answered, scoring 14 unanswered. Menzel to Jai Jones, a 56-yard touchdown. Menzel on the keeper, made it 14-7. Bears answered. Brody Veers to Mason Comer, 2-yard touchdown. Then it was Veers, a long pass, touchdown to Roberts. That almost set up a play. Excuse me, trying to decipher the first half. Helsana got the Wolves on top on an 11-yard touchdown, made it 21-14. Then it was Veers to Richardson, a 67-yard big pass play. And then it was a Veers touchdown run that made it 21-all. And then with 6.8 seconds left, it was Carmigiano finding Ochoa at the buzzer for the touchdown. And then, of course, the crucial extra point that was missed after the excessive celebration. And that is where we are, 27-21. And Jaden, we've seen just about everything. And of course, we talk about the health status of Will Menzel, the quarterback for Chandler High. Officials say his arm is in a sling. He's not going to be due back, and we can only speculate the injury. It was an injury to his wrist. We don't know the status, but he will most likely not be back this night. And for Chandler High, after tonight, they've got Perry at home next week. And then it's the Battle of Arizona Avenue taking on Hamilton. So now it's going to be the junior, Dominic Carmigiano, who has played more than enough this season. He's more than capable, and we saw him on that last drive, and Carmigiano is going to have to step up on the year coming into this one. 24 of 37, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Threw a touchdown at the end of the first half against Corona. Does it again here. So the junior, Jaden, showing he can step up and lead this team, and he might have to do it not just tonight, but the rest of the season and the postseason as well.
And I think with him at QB in the helm, you're going to see a lot of Halzana getting a lot of touches and carries on the ground, as he's a bit more of a conservative passer, right? They're going to look to use their dominant running game. And something else I want to mention that we didn't talk about is how late Basha just came onto the field. While they still have the the halftime to use as they please, they came out late. And I think that shows that whatever meeting that they were just having inside the locker room went on a little long. And I think that's because right now this has just gone completely out of control for the Bears, right? back in their control, and whatever was going on in that locker room right there, I'm sure there were a lot of adjustments and things being said. Chandler was already warmed up for a solid minute or two before we even saw the Bears emerge, and I think now with them coming into this second half, it's going to be a different story for the Bears, but I'm excited to see how Chandler keeps up the momentum. Right now, their offense has been doing everything perfectly, and their defense has played pretty much as well as they can against an offense like Basha's.
The most points Basha has given up this season was 32 points in a 35-32 victory against Brophy. Well, they've given up 27 in the first half, so Coach McDonald and the rest of the coaching staff probably had a long conversation and also checked the souls and heart of the young men in that locker room. And now it's the second half. And for Basha, of course, they're playing for the top playoff seed for the Open Division. For Chandler High, must win. They've got to have it. A third loss in the Open playoffs is most likely gone. Basha will receive, and back to receive is their speedster, Dash Blake, number 0. And they'll work this one inside the 10, and picking it up, Gio Richardson. Richardson turns the corner. Richardson has got open field. Richardson cuts it back outside. Richardson out past the 50 and finally dragged down at about the 43-yard line. And we talk about big plays. Mercy me, once again, here we go. Second half underway. Fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a great second half with some of the best players on the state right now at Austin Field. And Richardson, we know how good of a receiver he is. Once again, just showing how great he is in the open field. So now it's going to be that Basha offense led by Brody Veers, showing his dynamic play-making ability. And that Chandler defense being put to the test. And Basha taking its time, talking things over. Their first possession of the second half, trailing 27-21. And for my first good looks at Brody Veers, I see a young man who's taken over for a great quarterback in Damon Williams, and a young man who's got tremendous poise in the pocket, a great sense of the pocket, and has really done a nice job leading an offensive unit that is putting up 42 points a game. And here we are. It's the Bears, their first possession. 2 wide receivers down below. The flip out to Roberts in the flat. Roberts turns the corner. Roberts inside the 40, takes it down to about the 36-yard line. So a tremendous pickup by the Bears, just like that on the quick flip out to Noah Roberts, who really just shows you what a versatile athlete he is. He can run the ball effectively between the tackles and sure-handed receiver out of the backfield. Veers, this time they feed the beast. Roberts, and Roberts gets met. A couple Chandler High Wolves in on the tackle, leading the way. Scooby Bradley. Austin Bradley. They call him Scooby. Why? Because he loves Scooby-Doo. Comes up big on the tackle.
One thing Basha never really struggles on is their offense. Right now they're having another great drive, capitalizing on their momentum that they had left over from that end of the first half, an under 2-minute drive. And Veers throws his first ever interception. Commentators curse.
And that is picked off by the Wolves. A tremendous play coming up big by the secondary. Tremendous defensive play by the Wolves, getting the interception. We'll try to scout a number for you on that.
That is Veers' first interception, and a very, very bad start to this second half for the Bears. They're going to have to be playing on the backhand now, hopefully looking to make a comeback against the Wolves.
A.J. Roca on the interception. And, you know, the thing about that one, Jaden, Veers had so much time, and he just simply underthrew the ball. And for the young man who's looked so poised in the pocket, that's one he wishes he had back. Carmigiano, low snap. Carmigiano steps up, and he'll get taken down by the big Bears defensive line. So the Bears trying to counterpunch with the big boys, making some big noise in the trenches. In on the tackle, big number 55, Taveti Kale. The junior, 6'3", 276. Kale force 17 tackles on the year, a couple tackles in the win last week over Hamilton. Comes up big on that play. 3rd and 16 from the 25. Carmigiano, low snap. Carmigiano will just flip it short, and that could have easily been a flag against Basha. Looked like the defender got there early, but there's no flag on the play. Looked like Eli Kramer Cronin, who's such a dynamic playmaker defensively, got there early. But the refs say clean play, and Basha does what it needs to do. They come up with the 3 and out, and Chandler won't roll the dice here deep in their territory. So Basha does the job defensively.
And you saw that pressure there from people like Tavita Kale, Beckham Murakami, Tony Tahi. That's what they want to do in this second half against a backup quarterback, is just constantly put pressure on him, especially when they know he's a pocket passer.
Punt down the field, returned by the elite returner, and that's Dash Blake, the senior. And Blake has got some moves. He works it out past the 50 and down to about the 46-yard line. So the Bears are going to have some great field position. Short timeout. Bears and Wolves in a thriller. 27-21 Chandler at Austin Field. First and 10 from the 45. Bears, Veers, Richardson in motion. They go inside, handoff, busting it outside, following a block, still on his feet, out past the 40, inside the 45, inside the 30. Tremendous run by Joshua Gaines, and here's the young man you alluded to. He gives Noah Roberts a breather, and when Gaines steps in, there's no drop-off whatsoever.
He's just been absolutely perfect at the running back position. Every single time he gets the ball, he is getting consistent yards. He's averaging 8 yards a carry, and I don't think that stat's inflated at all because you continue to see it against different levels of competitive teams.
Veers on the high snap, and Veers is going to be dropped, and they say the ball is down on the turf, and that is a tremendous killer for the Bears. They're driving, and then all of a sudden the high snap, and that's not the first one Veers has had to deal with tonight, so that pushes the Bears back. But look, in this situation, we've seen both teams, their ability to stretch the field. It could be a prelude to something bigger that the Bears pull out of their hat with a 2nd and long from the 44-yard line. Veers kind of scouring that Chandler secondary. A good snap this time. He's got time to set his feet, just flicks it out. Caught by his big tight end, Mason Colmer, who caught a touchdown earlier. And Colmer gets a good part of that back, works it inside the 30-yard line. So talk about a good check down right there. And Colmer answers on the little in route and get some real estate back for the Bears.
I think it's important to look a play before that there. We've seen these high snaps because Basha doesn't have their usual snapper in. Justin Gertis is the center. He's injured, and in place we have Sam Garcia this week. It's a reason for those bad snaps.
3rd and 7 from the 28, flipped out to Roberts. Roberts still on his feet, and Roberts will have the first down. And Roberts so nimble, and you know, the ability not just to run the football, but to catch the football out of the backfield. And we're seeing that so big in college football now and the NFL. Players like Saquon Barkley and Kyron Williams of the LA Rams, the ability to catch and run the football. And Noah Roberts is a blueprint of those kind of players in the backfield. Another high snap, and the flag is immediately dropped, and that's going to be a false start against the Bears. So that just stops the momentum train of the Bears for a split second. But you can see the Bears playmakers with Roberts and Gaines, and what a tremendous backfield they have, and that offensive line. And now as we get into the second half, it's going to be what line can really impose its will on the other defensive unit. Veers, another high snap. This time he'll tuck and take off, and Veers will work it inside the 10 and flips over to about the 8-yard line. And Veers, tremendous play just to save the high snap from losing more yardage, and then races around the end and flips inside the 10 for a quality pickup. It's going to be a 2nd and 1 from the 10. And the Bears knocking on the door with a chance to take the lead. Roberts in the backfield. Richardson in motion. Another high snap. They feed Roberts. Roberts tries to get outside. Richardson with a block. And Roberts, good pursuit by Chandler, holding Roberts to a short pickup on the play.
And it's got to be tough being Basha offensive line coach Tim Kelly right now, because you know you're putting in Garcia at center in a position that obviously he's got to rise to the occasion, but he's not used to snapping the ball. So when you have high snaps like this, it's not necessarily his fault, but there's nothing you can really do about it. It's definitely just a situation that you don't want to be in. We'll see how the Bears will deal with that.
Another high snap. And Jaden, you called it, and Veers is trying to think about possibly making a play and realized he just had to eat it at about the 26-yard line. And some physicality between the Bears and the Wolves and that backfield that could have easily been offsetting penalties, but the refs just decide to play it out. So right now, bad snaps are crippling the Bears as they in the verge of taking the lead, and now bad snaps have pushed them all the way back to the 26-yard line. A 2nd and 26. Veers, he's got time, and he looks just to pick some up and to dump off to Comer, and Comer working the physicality and gets it inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. And look, at some point, Mikey Barth might have to step up and make a field goal. And Jaden, I know you say he hasn't done much of that this season, but at some point, the sophomore might have to deliver a big boot, and this could be that situation, or could be the Bears maybe using 2 downs to go for it.
It's a chance to rise up to his title. He was ranked the number 2 kicker in the nation coming into this season. You got to make some field goals if you want to prove that.
Veers flips it, and that one is bobbled. Richardson inside the 5. Veers tried to throw it into a tight window, and Richardson cannot come down with it. But once again, you can see Veers with that great pocket presence, and now it's the highly rated kicker and Mikey Barth with an opportunity, and Barth is going to try to knock this one from 32 yards out. A big play right here with 5:26 left in the third. Good snap, Barth, and that one is blocked by Chandler High. And the Wolves come up big. And who else? Aiden Browder. So the Wolves come up big, and the fans on their feet at Austin Field. Tremendous penetration by the special teams unit. And that keeps the Bears off the board with 5:18 left in the third. And Chandler High getting a big round of applause from their fan base here at Austin Field. Now it's Dominic Carmigiano. Jai Jones in motion, and that play was doomed from the start. So much motion, and it looks like it'll be a false start against Chandler. And that is the call.
And it's kind of a battle of injuries between these two teams right now. Chandler without their starting QB, Basha without their starting center. We've really seen that be the focal point of what's holding back both of these teams right now. And I think looking back on that Basha drive, at what point do you just start, snapping it right at the line of scrimmage instead of shotgun if you keep getting high snaps?
Absolutely. 1st and 15 from the 23. Carmigiano, quick pass out in the flat. Ochoa gets lit up at the 20-yard line. Great read by Basha. Strong on the pursuit and just bringing the A-game. Coming in and laying a lick. Caleb Garcia, the junior, 6'1", $185. Garcia, playmaker, 45 tackles coming into this one. Coming off a strong week in the win over Hamilton. 8 tackles, 1 pass breakup, 1 tackle for loss. A 2nd and 18 from the 20. Chandler spreading out the Bears. Helsana in the backfield. Carmigiano, quick snap, just fires it out to Ochoa. Tries to gain some of the real estate back, and it's going to be a 3rd and long for the Wolves. And right now, Jaden, we saw the offenses really dominating the first half. Now it's the defenses kind of holding serve here in the 3rd quarter.
I think that we'll continue to see that. As I just mentioned, a lot of the injuries are playing a part of that. And Chandler has struggled on this drive in particular to run the ball. We know that Helsana has been their top guy of the night, and I think they got a bit too far away from that on this current drive.
Trips right, bottom of the screen. Carmigiano, 3rd and 13 from the 27. Carmigiano gets lit up from the outside. Bringing the heat, Darian Dantzler. Just call him blue.
He's getting low snaps. Basha's getting high snaps. It's been like 4 or 5 now.
But a flag is down on the play.
And they threw that flag as soon as blue made contact. They may call that against Basha.
And the penalty
will
goes against Chandler, and Basha will decline the penalty. So how about Dantzler bringing the heat, and it's Basha stepping up. And we kind of talked about that halftime speech Chris McDonald and the coaching staff had with the young men in that Basha locker room, and they look like a completely different defensive unit here in this 2nd frame. So now it's going to be Chandler punting deep from their end.
Basha bringing all the pressure here.
Ochoa back to punt. Gets it off, and it's going to be Dash Blake. And that's going to go out of bounds. And great field position for the Bears, and they'll have it spotted at the 35-yard line. So for the Bears and Coach Chris McDonald right now, you know what you can do. You know you can move the football. And as you mentioned, Jaden, now maybe it's a source of discussion, and rightfully so. Maybe put Veers under center and make the game easier and avoid any kind of bad snaps to put them in any kind of harm's way whatsoever.
I think that you're really out of options. You've exhausted them. All the shotgun snaps aren't working. They're going to stick with them. We'll see what happens.
1st and 10 from the 43. Richardson at the bottom of your screen. One back in the backfield. Veers, and they go inside to Roberts. Roberts into the secondary, and Roberts works his way down to the 32-yard line. And the physicality, big time. Bodies flying all over the field. Big time physicality.
Roberts just does such a great job of following his blockers, and I think that's such a great reason as to why he gets so many yards there. And you could see it again there. He just needs one block, and he's going to follow right behind his guy, take it easily for 5 or 6 yards.
2nd and 2 from the 32. They feed the beast, and the beast, his name is Roberts, but this time he gets met up and bring the boys and bringing the noise. Yona Koopa, the leading tackler on the team. Koopa bringing the heat, and right now it's a battle of wills on both sides. Both defensive units showing up big. And you got to wonder, Jaden, how big is that extra point missed by Chandler on the excessive celebration in the first half? 3rd and 1 from the 31. They go back this time. It's Gaines on the handoff, and Gaines works his way, and that's going to move the sticks. So if you don't get it with Roberts, you go to Gaines, and Gaines gets them a couple, and the clock keeps moving, and the sticks keep moving, and the Bears control possession with 2 and change left in the third quarter, trailing 27-21. Veers goes right back to Gaines, and Gaines busted through the middle. Gaines still on his feet. Spin cycle, works his way down to the 15-yard line. And the Bears are growling yet again. And Jaden, what we're seeing from the Bears, good snaps to Veers. But right now, you got to hold your breath. Can they continue to execute the pivotal play to get the play off?
They've cleaned it up, but, how long is that going to last? We saw a decent first half. There were a few high snaps, but the start to this second has been just so very, very bad for the Bears. I don't know if you can really say that that's over yet, and I'm so surprised right now that they haven't gone under center at all.
1st and 10 from the 13. Veers not afraid to hand it off this time. Gaines down inside the 5, and the Bears just doing it the old-fashioned way, trucking and delivering, moving the pile, and the big boys in the backfield delivering, and the Bears are knocking on the door.
There's a minute left in the third right now, and I don't think we've seen the ball on Basha's side of the field this entire quarter. This has been a very stagnant half in terms of ball movement. Basha gets it down near the goal line, then Chandler gets it back and gets right up near midfield. Haven't seen a lot of action in terms of the scoreboard yet so far.
1st and goal from the 2-yard line. Time winding down in the third quarter. Basha looking to tie it. Richardson in motion. High snap yet again. They go back inside. Roberts tries to stretch it across. And the referees call it a touchdown, and we are tied at 27. Noah Roberts, extra effort, busting in. And the Bears now for the crucial point after. Mikey Barth, field goal was blocked last time. Highly rated kicker coming into this season. Now just has to do it the old-fashioned way. Boots this one up, and this one is good. And the Bears take a 28-27 lead with 35.5 seconds left. And Jaden, you follow this team all year. You could talk about the impressiveness of the backfield, but it all starts with the big boys up front. And they delivered, opening up monster holes for Gaines and Roberts to drive through.
Now look, Sam Garcia might not be the best snapper that Basha has, but that O-line sure does know how to block and open up holes. Arguably one of the best offensive lines in the state. Their left tackle, Jake Hildebrand, is a 6'7" sophomore. He's already got offers from colleges like Nebraska, and he's paired up with other huge leaders on the team. Sam Garcia has played on varsity for 3 years, one with Basha back when they won the state championship a few years ago. You have an experienced O-line that is just, they're giants out there, and the best thing they do is open up holes for their running backs, and it just so happens that they have some of the best running backs on their team. You can't ask for anything better.
So the kickoff, and this one is going into the end zone, and the Wolves will take it deep in their territory. So now Basha has got a pep in their step with a 1-point lead. So now Dominic Carmigiano in for Will Menzel, who left with a wrist injury, currently in a sling. We don't know his status. He will not be back for tonight, and prayers to him and his family that he makes a speedy recovery. Dominic Carmigiano, who threw a touchdown at the end of the first half. They're going to have to ride the junior potentially for a victory. Carmigiano, good snap. They go to Helsana inside, and Helsana is bottled up. And all of a sudden, that Basha defense that was so on its heels in that first frame, looking stout, led by their super middle linebacker, Eli Kramer-Cronin, on the tackle as time winds down here in the third.
Basha's DNs are also getting inside the backfield like that right now, and I think that's adding to their success in the second half compared to the first, is the increased pressure on a less experienced quarterback than what Chandler's used to.
And that is going to do it for the third quarter. We have a thriller. Chandler playing for its open playoff lives, trailing the second-ranked Bears 28-27. The fourth quarter coming up right here on the Chandler High Sports Network. And we welcome you back to Austin Field. Fourth quarter, 28-27. Basha leading Chandler. The difference, point after miss by Aguilar after an excessive celebration. Handoff up the middle, and that is gobbled up by the Bears. And right now, the Bears defensively with all the answers. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long from the 19-yard line.
And this is arguably the most important quarter Chandler football has played all year. Open division spot on the line right now. They're in the last spot, even considered for the open. A loss today would most likely mean disqualification from the open at all. So this fourth quarter, they're going to be scrappy.
Carmigiano with the man in motion. Big rush, little screen out, and the Bears read it well, but working his way for the first down. Helsana make that Ochoa on the screen, and Ochoa works his way.
They're marking him short, but you got to be happy with that play. He's able to just use that energy I was just describing to take it all the way down.
So this one they busted out. And Chandler goes for it on 4th down, and they get it.
Ochoa just proving once again why he's one of Chandler's best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver. They have his ability to be clutch on crucial plays like that. And then I love Chandler's gutsy play calling, again, going for it on 4th, but they're confident enough to actually convert. Great play call.
Carmigiano avoids the rush, and he gets taken down. And we got a final from Game 1 of the World Series. The Dodgers get a walk-off grand slam from Freddie Freeman, the Beast, and the Dodgers take Game 1 of the World Series. Trying to confirm a score for you, but talk about dramatic fashion at Chavez Ravine. Freddie Freeman comes up big as the wife sent me the clip as Freddie went deep, and Dodgers take Game 1. Get you a score shortly. Back to this thriller. Carmigiano, he flips it out, and that is gobbled up. Good read. And once again, making the play. Coming up big, reading that, Mark Dewerson. Chandler High going to the well on the screen pass, and now there is a player down for the Wolves. We'll get a number for you. And it looks like that is Tristan Helsana. Chandler High already with one major injury to starting quarterback Will Menzel, who suffered a wrist injury. He is in a sling, and now Helsana is getting up. And now Helsana is walking that off, and that's a good sign. There's a timeout in the field. We'll take a timeout as well. Bears with a 28-27 lead over the Wolves with 9:54 left in the fourth. 3rd and 12 from the 30. Carmigiano trips at the bottom of your screen. Low snap, Carmigiano. Time to throw, fires down the field, and that pass is high. His intended receiver, Carter Ochoa. And the Bears defense once again comes up big. The Bears putting a lot of pressure on Carmigiano, forcing the high throw, and Chris McDonald and his defensive unit coming up big in this 3rd quarter now, leading to the 4th, and Chandler High has not gotten on track in this 2nd half offensively.
Basha defensive coordinator Schnell Jones has done a really good job past the 1st quarter, working with Caden Williams. He got burnt in deep coverage twice in the 1st, and you can see there he was in there to get some great pass coverage on an important 3rd down.
Ochoa punts it off, and that's going to be a penalty, no question, against Chandler for not allowing Dash Blank to receive the punt. Fans in the stands are saying that Chandler was forced into Blank as the referees are discussing. And once again, regardless, Basha's going to have good field position just outside their 40-yard line.
And they're going to just look to run the ball, take time off the clock, get downfield. They're going to have decent field position with this penalty, so they want to take off as much as they can.
And the penalty does go against Chandler High for not allowing the return man to receive the punt clean. So that's going to move the ball out past the 50 to the 48-yard line. 9:31 left, 28-27. Basha looking to tack on more. Veer's little dump off. Roberts avoids a tackle, and Roberts so shifty inside the 45 down to about the 42. And Noah Roberts, a sophomore, 6 feet, great moves, and no question he's got college football in his future. The versatility of what he can do on the field, the skill set's just off the charts. 2nd and 4 from the 43. Another high snap. Veers tries to hit the quick hitter, and that time incomplete to Dash Blake. And that stops the clock with 8:54 left.
Already looking at a 3rd and 4 here. Not the situation that Basha was hoping for. We'll see what they go for, if they give it back to Veers in the pocket or if they hand it off to one of their star running backs with Roberts or Gaines.
One back in the backfield, 2 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. Richardson up top. He's been quiet in the 2nd half. Veers looking for a good snap. He gets a good one. Time to throw, rolls to his left, avoids the rush, takes it inside the 40 down to about the 38-yard line.
He's going to be shy about a yard, and they're going to mark it. That was a close one.
And they're going to say they're going to give him the 1st down. The sticks, as of now, the yard markers are moving on the other side of the field, and they're going to say that Veers did get the 1st down. 1st and 10 from the 38, and now the clock is becoming a factor. 8:47 left for Chandler High. Of course, they're trailing by 1. And they don't want to allow the Bears to go up any more than they already are. Veers takes off, tucks it inside the 30, down to about the 29-yard line.
It's a very risky formation they were in there. He's alone in the backfield. No running back to hand it off to. Still with a shotgun formation. Who knows if the snap's going to get to him. And you're throwing it at this point. They're going risky right now. And, hey, if they want to go up by another touchdown, I kind of like that play call. I like that they're still wanting to take this game and really kind of try and change what the scoreboard's showing and show that Basha has been dominant in this 2nd half.
And what I like about Brody Veers in that play is that he realizes he holds on to the ball, the clock continues to run as a flag comes down on the Roberts short run. How many times you see a quarterback just tries to force a ball, then that stops the clock. And that's the last thing you want to do if you're Basha. You're playing with the lead. You're playing with the field position. You're playing for another drive to maybe add another touchdown. Just he takes off, works the clock, and a smart play by Veers, who's not only shown his capabilities in the pocket, but has shown his high IQ within the pocket as well. So a penalty against Chandler High, and that's going to move the ball deep into their territory.
With it being 27-28, if Basha scores here and gets the extra point, they're up that extra one, which would force Chandler, if they scored, to go for a 2-point conversion. And you've mentioned it this whole second half, but that missed extra point was so crucial.
And Veers taken off in the corner, and Veers dragged down by Yona Koopa. And Koopa with a touchdown saving grab, and right now you just gotta like what the Bears are doing. They're just making Chandler High stop them on the run, and the Bears are just bleeding the clock, and rightfully so. They've got the lead. They're driving inside. They're going to use every second of the play clock and work it in their favor. And right now Chandler High has to force Basha to hold them out of the end zone and force another field goal attempt. Trips at the bottom of your screen. Gaines works it right side. Flag is down, and that's going to be coming back, and that's going to be against Basha. Could be a hold in the backfield. Referee, and that is the call, holding against the Bears. So Chandler gets a reprieve, and that stops the clock momentarily with 7:04 left. And this is a Basha team. We talked about it in the opening of this cast. They have not lost inside the state of Arizona. They've handled their schedule, and they've stood loud and proud no matter at home or on the road. Their only loss, Mission Viejo in the state of California, and that was a single-digit thriller as well. Chandler High with losses to Highland on the road. A lopsided home loss to Liberty. They bounced back to beat Castillo last week, 5-2. Wolves facing desperation as Veers works in the shotgun. Good snap, time to throw. Veers avoids the rush, steps up inside the 10, and Veers slides down to about the 6-yard line. And what a play by Brody Veers. Stepped up, avoided the rush, and works the Bears inside the 10. And once again, the Bears knocking on the door of another potential touchdown. The crafty junior felt the pocket collapsing and took off. And the clock working its way down to 6 minutes left in this one as Veers gets the play from the sidelines, and the Bears casually taking their time. They go with the inside handoff, and that's a big-time hit. Just bringing the lumber and then some. Craig Noble, the junior, helmet flying off, laying the goods and then some. A big stop and a tremendous effort by Noble.
You can see Sam Garcia on the ground there, and you just got to think to yourself, surely he was the one who led him into the backfield. He was practically there before Roberts even had the ball in his hands. Now with 4th and 3, the Bears still could convert here. Instead, they're going to go for a kick with Barth, and I think that was just a very unfortunate end to Basha thought that they had in the bag.
Barth, a 22-yard attempt. He missed his first one. It was blocked the first time around. And, you know, this is a moment, maybe a judgment moment for Coach McDonald and his staff. Your defense has been playing so lights out, right? 4th and short, got a power running game going. Veers is in total control. Your kicking game is suspect.
You definitely could go for it here, especially because although you're going for a touchdown, you don't need it. You could still get a first down and have another 3-4 plays to run it in from there, I think you risk it here. If you have that faith in your defense as a coach, you're already leading by 1. If you don't convert here, you'd pin them deep in their own territory. For me, it's a no-brainer.
Jaden, I think what Basha should do, if anything here, they line up their offense, they try to force Chandler offside, get the first down, and they milk the clock and potentially score a touchdown. But if not, we'll see if they come out and kick Barth with a 22-yarder on the line for Basha, which would give them a 4-point lead. So they come back out.
Barth still on the field.
And it's going to be a 22-yarder. Barth, his last attempt was blocked. Aiden Browder and the crew in on that one. This one, a big one. An opportunity to put Bash up 31-27. Barth, the highly rated kicker. Point blank look. Fans on their feet making noise. Barth hearing it from the Chandler crowd. The snap, it's good. This one up and splits the uprights, and Barth bangs it home. And it's now 31-27 Bears with 5:41 left.
And although that's not what me and you just said that we would do, that's still a good outcome for the Bears there. They're able to turn around their somewhat iffy kicking game, and now they've stopped Chandler from having a field goal potentially tie the game. They would still be down by 1 now, and I think overall not the result Basha wanted there, but at least you're finally able to get some kicking points up on the board and make it at least a little bit more difficult for Chandler to make a comeback.
And how about for Mikey Barth in the course of this season? He might have to make a big kick somewhere down the road, and this just might be a prelude to something bigger and better where the stakes are even higher for this Basha team. Of course, 5:41 left. Chandler, of course, they're going to want to make sure they have their opportunity to have a different outcome for this one. And now they have to go to work offensively as Barth now looming large, giving the Bears a 4-point lead. This one booted downfield, and Barth has been tremendous, just knocking him into the end zone one after another, not giving Chandler any opportunity to use their explosive speed. So Chandler will start deep in their territory, and you got to wonder for Dominic Carmigiano and the offensive coordinator for Chandler High, Coach Carpenter, if they go to some quicker plays and look for that one-on-one coverage. And we've seen Carmigiano kind of in a sitting duck situation, holding onto the ball too long and just getting gobbled up by that ferocious Basha pass rush. So we'll see if Chandler speeds it up with 5:41 left. 1st and 10 from the 20. Carmigiano, quick snap, fires it, and that one is in and out of the hands. And that is something you rarely see, right through the fingertips of Carter Ochoa. So it brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 20.
And last drive, Halsana came out injured. He's yet to return back into the game.
Quick snap. Now it's Carmigiano finds Skylar Ormita. Ormita takes it out past the 35 to about the 30, make that the 27-yard line. It's going to be up a 3rd and 3. We are closing in on 5 minutes left in this one. And you got to wonder if it's almost 2-down territory for Chandler. Carmigiano, and that one pass over the middle. And they are going to rule it complete. And how about Ormita with the diving grab?
Fell under it perfectly, right in his arms, and got the first down. That was a great connection there between him and Carmigiano.
An incredible play by Ormita, sliding on the turf. The junior coming up big. 1st and 10 from the 35. Carmigiano, time to throw. Now avoids the rush, fires it down the field, and that one goes out of bounds. And trying to make the reception was Carter Ochoa. He's going to bring up a 2nd down and 2nd and down from the 35. We kind of talk about that Basha pass rush. You can only hold them off for so long. They've really owned the trenches in this second frame. Carmigiano, good snap. Time to throw, flips it down the field, and that one is just dropped. My goodness, Jai Jones right in the breadbasket. You got to bring that in. Brings up a 3rd and 10.
That's a ball you just can't drop, and a potentially game-winning drive here for the Wolves. We'll see how they're able to deal with that now on 3rd and 10.
4:37 left. Carmigiano let it rip and threw a strike, and Jai Jones whiffed on it. That time a shot over the middle. Getting lit up was Carter Ochoa. A bang play, and that might have been slightly behind him. So now it's a 4th and 10 from the 35, 4:32 left. Chandler High fans thought Ochoa got lit up maybe early on the play, or maybe took a shot to the helmet. And Chandler High still has the offensive unit out on the field. Knowing how good this Basha running attack has been, they can't afford to let Basha get another opportunity with the football. And now there is a timeout, and Chandler will take it. Critical moment in this one. And once again, the turning point on this drive. You can't stress enough. You don't want to point to one play, but for Chandler in a critical drive, Jai Jones has got to come up with that play. He was open over the middle and got a strike, and that one just went right through the fingertips.
You just have to wonder what's happening there. Is it the nerves? Was he not ready for it? I'm sure he's thinking that right now. I'm sure he's going to think that when he goes to bed tonight. He's going to think about, how did I miss that catch? Now on 4th and 10, this is going to be the most important play for Chandler of the game. And we just got to give credit there to Caden Williams on that 3rd down with that hit. Although it was a little controversial to some of the Chandler fans over here on this side of the sideline, he had a monster hit there, and his defense, we talked about it last drive, has just been phenomenal this second half.
Basha has been flying to the football. They've owned this side of their field. So it's 4th and 10 from the 35, 4:32 left. Chandler trips upstairs. 2 wide receivers down below. Ochoa in motion. Carmigiano, low snap, drops back. Moving to his left. Carmigiano flips it down the field, and that is going to fall incomplete. And the Bears get the turnover on downs, looking for Skylar Ormita. And a tremendous defensive stop by the Bears, and they can milk the clock with 4:25 left. And now it's up to Chandler, looking for a big defensive stop and potentially a turnover to maybe get the ball back and have a chance to pull this one out at the end.
Just completely flipped the script from the first half. Basha's defense has. They've just done everything right. They've been playing great, pass coverage. They've been getting in to put pressure. They've been utilizing their linebackers to kind of sneak in. Their DNs are in the backfield. If you showed this second half to somebody who had watched the first half, you wouldn't think this is the same team. Their defense has completely turned it around.
Brody Veers with Noah Roberts in the backfield, and they're going to do what they've been doing. It's Veers on the keeper. Veers, short pickup down about the 32-yard line, but that continues to milk the clock. And the Bears will gladly use every second off the play clock as this one winds down to the 4-minute mark.
Don't rule out Chandler yet, though, because Basha has struggled with running out the clock. When they played Brophy a few weeks ago, they were in a similar situation where they were leading at the end of the game, and they couldn't get the first down they needed that would have been able to let them close out the game. Then they had to punt it, and Brophy had a chance before they fumbled it. So it's important for Basha to actually focus here and ensure that they get this conversion, or you're giving back Chandler the ball with at least a few minutes left on the clock.
3 seconds left on the play clock. The Bears just get it off. They go back to Roberts inside. Roberts across the 30, down to about the 27-yard line. Short pickup on the play. But the Bears, high IQ execution on offense, just bleeding the clock, taking the play clock right down to the final second. And that speaks volumes of the maturity of Brody Veers under center, understanding the situation, not getting overwhelmed by the emotion, overwhelmed by the moment, understanding where he was, where the dynamic of the team is, and just using the clock to his benefit. 3rd and 3 from the 28. They go back to Roberts inside. Roberts has got the first down. Roberts still on his feet inside the 10, down to the 5. Roberts getting pushed, and Roberts goes. And they're going to say Roberts is short of the goal line. Taken down at about the 1. And that just rips the hearts of Chandler fans everywhere. Roberts just gashed Chandler straight up the gut, and the big boys up front for the Bears punishing Chandler at the point of attack, and now it's the Bears with a 1st and goal at the 1 as we are closing in to the 2-minute mark. And Jaden, you kind of talked about all the different moving parts of the Bears offensive line. Sam Garcia switching to center, but all said and done, give credit, all the changes, all the different scenarios that the Bears have had to deal with, all the bad snaps, but when it came down to making the critical plays, they did what they've been doing all year, providing the push, providing the determination, and giving the offense an opportunity to hold the football and win this one in their own possession. So now Chandler, Coach DeRocher, the defensive coordinator, of course, Coach Garrettson in that mix, talking things through, and this Chandler team gasping for air, hoping for a turnover. 2:12 left. They're trailing by 4. Chandler putting up 27 first half points, and they have been bottled up by this tremendous Bears defense in the second frame. Chandler, of course, 2 games left. They've got Perry next week at home, and then it's the battle on Arizona Avenue next week for the Bears. They travel to Castile. 3 road games to end the year.
And 3 all in region and in district games, so a lot of rivalry to end out the season.
Bears operating out of that shotgun. Good snap. They go to Roberts, and Roberts walks right in. And the Bears do it on the ground. And now the lead is 10. And that's the big exclamation point for Chris McDonald and his worthy Bears who've come across town and looking to beat Chandler for a 4th straight time.
And one of Coach McDonald's favorite sayings is, whenever I talk to him, is that a dirty win is better than a pretty loss. And while the game isn't in the books yet, to be able to squeeze out a win this second half after how bad of a first half Basha had, there's some positive that you're going to be able to walk away from with this, especially keeping in mind all the injuries that you're battling through.
Mikey Barth kicked the field goal a short time ago and now boots up the extra point. Makes it 38-27. Of course, Chandler playing the second half without starting quarterback Will Menzel. He was injured in the first half with a wrist injury. Taken off. He's now in a sling. Of course, he's not coming back for this one. His status moving forward also unknown. So junior Dominic Carmigiano running the show as Chandler has been bottled up. So now they need a lot of points quickly. Chandler with no time to waste. 2:09. Can they pull out a miracle out of the hat against a Basha defense that had just rose to the occasion after a stern, thorough conversation at the half from Coach McDonald and the coaching staff? By no means did Basha come out of that tunnel in the second half with 5 to 10 minutes to spare. They were in that locker room a long time, and there was a lot of heated words, no question being said, and they have answered the bell for their team, their teammates, their coaches, and their fan base. This one booted into the end zone, and Chandler will start deep in their territory. 2:09 left. Chandler needing big plays and big plays fast from Dominic Carmigiano. Carter Ochoa. Of course, we talked about the injury to Will Mensel. Also, Tristan Helsana, their star running back, left the game in the second half with an injury as well. We have not seen him back since. So Chandler sustaining several key injuries in the course of this one. Parmigiano, he's got the weapons. Will he get the time in the pocket to deliver? Drops back, steps up, and he is going to be dropped. Basha bringing the heat. The physicality by the Bears just overwhelming. And bringing the heat, number 10, Blue Dantzler. His second sack on the night. 6'3", 230. Brings up a 2nd and 18 from the 20. Parmigiano flips it out. Short pass completion. In on the tackle. Xavier Rivera Rogers. Ochoa on the reception. A lot of time is being churned off the clock. Chandler has to speed it up and take some bigger shots. 3rd and 14 from the 17. Low snap. Parmigiano steps up. Will take off. Parmigiano will work his way, and that's going to be a late hit. And that should be pulled, and they don't call it on the sidelines, but Parmigiano did take a shot out of the sidelines. Needs to say, a 4th down, and this is the ball game right here.
With it being so close to the 1st down, perhaps that's the reason they didn't throw the flag there, right? And knowing that you don't want him to scramble for an extra few yards, you need him to go out of bounds right at that spot, could be the reason.
4th and 3, Parmigiano voids the rush. Parmigiano and slides and barely gets enough for the 1st down. That's going to move the sticks with 1:01 left in the game. And Parmigiano, that was a dicey slide.
Yep.
He was borderline just getting the 1st down. And
1 yard shorter, he takes that, and boom, turnover, game over.
Now the clock is running down to 48 seconds. Parmigiano downfield, and that is going to be picked off by the Bears, and that is going to do it. Coming up big, the Bears defensively. Mark Dewerson on the pick. And that is going to ice it as the Bears continue their ascension toward the open playoffs. And for Chandler High, Heartbreak City, they lose starting quarterback Will Mensel in the 1st half. They lose their star running back Tristan Helsana in the 2nd half. They are held scoreless in the 2nd frame, and they are going to drop to 5-3 with their 4th consecutive loss to Basha. And this Basha team, once again, showing they are a threat when it's all said and done. When it comes to November, they're going to be in the conversation.
They're already ranked number 3 in the Open. Behind some questionable rankings, a lot of people think that Basha should be ranked higher. But regardless of whatever people think, going into the Open, I still see Basha as one of, if not the best teams. They're going to compete, and they're going to play at the highest level of competition, no matter who they get lined up against.
So for Chandler High, it started rough with the opening fumble on the opening kickoff. Led to a Noah Roberts touchdown, and then it was Chandler back-to-back touchdowns. Mensel 56 yards to Jai Jones, a Mensel touchdown run. Basha answered Veers to Colmer, tied it at 14. Helsana, 11-yard touchdown, made it 21-14. A Veers touchdown run made it 21-all. Then at the buzzer, Ochoa on a Parmigiano touchdown to end the 1st half. Big point after was pushed back on the excessive celebration, so it was 27-21 at the half. 2nd half, as we documented, documented how the Bears stayed in that locker room for a long period of time. And Chris McDonald and the staff talked to his team, and they came out defensively a different group. Noah Roberts with a touchdown made it 28-27. They got a field goal from Barth, and then they tacked it on at the very end on a Noah Roberts touchdown. He was outstanding, and the Bears get the 38-27 victory as Chandler falls to 5-3, and now a couple home losses on the year. Jaden, as you walk away from this one, what do you take from Chandler? What do you take from the Bears?
From Chandler, you're out of the open most likely, but I don't think you're out overall. You had a lot of injuries that kind of made the second half of this game really get away from you. Basha shut out Chandler in the second half, but before that, Chandler was leading. So get through these injuries, and I think that this team has a lot of room to grow. I would still say that they could potentially be contenders in the 6A and maybe even the Open next year, but I think that's a solid team that once they get through the injuries is going to continue to dominate. Basha, on the other hand, as well, a rough start, a slow start on the defense. They let up a lot of points, but then, as I just mentioned, they shut out in the second half, and Basha's offense continues to dominate, but behind Roberts and Gaines. You saw a little bit of Gio tonight. We didn't see as much of him as usual, but I still think that that core offense, they have all their pieces. Nobody's injured right now, and I think that they're going to continue to be one of the top teams in the Open, and everybody's going to be looking to take them down.
That is Jaden Reichen, by the way. And by the way, what year are you at Basha?
I'm a senior at Basha High School currently.
So here's a young man with all kinds of ridiculous skill set doing play-by-play for Basha High. Of course, you can catch him calling Basha High not only football, basketball, baseball, and softball in the spring as well.
Correct.
That is Jaden Reichen. He's going to be one of those great young broadcasters to look out for somewhere down the road. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on the broadcast. That is Jaden Reichen. Of course, we'll hear from him somewhere down the road and maybe in an NFHS broadcast, but you can definitely catch him on the Basha High Sports Network for all their streaming events right on campus. So Chandler High loses a heartbreaker, 38-27 the final. They now drop to 5-3. Next week they've got Perry at home, followed by a road trip to Hamilton, the Battle of Arizona Avenue to close out the year. And for Basha, they head on the road for their final 3 games. This one of them, and now they head to Castile next week. We appreciate you dialing us up on the Chandler High Sports Network. Chandler loses a heartbreaker. They drop to 5-3, losing 38-27. I'm Joe Pequeno. Paulo Hutchison on the live stream. For the good people at Chandler High, for all the people that bleed blue out there. Chandler High Nation, once you're a Wolf, you're always a Wolf, baby. This has been a presentation of Chandler.